There is a company that makes more than $10 billion a year, and you cannot buy it. Not a piece of it, not a single share, not for any price. The richest person on earth could not buy it. The group that owns half the luxury world, the one that swallowed Tiffany, Bulgari, Dior, could not buy it either. Because this company has no owner. It is called Rolex, and the reason no one owns it is a decision one man made before he died, a decision that still runs the company today, 65 years later. Ask why a Rolex costs what it costs, and you'll hear the usual answers. Swiss craftsmanship, a century of marketing, the crown on the dial. All of it is true, and none of it explains the strange part. Because the strange part isn't the price of the watch, it's the price of the company. Every other great luxury house has a number, a price at which it can be bought. Gucci was bought, Tiffany was bought. Even houses that swore they'd stay independent eventually had a meeting, named a figure, and sold. Rolex never has, and it isn't because no one offered. It's because there is no one to say yes. Walk into a Rolex dealer with the full retail price in cash and try to buy their most popular steel watch. You'll be told there's a waiting list, months, sometimes years. Here is the part that should not make sense. A company that could easily sell more makes less on purpose. And it works so well that a used steel Rolex, already worn, often sells for more than a brand new one in the store. Sit with that. You can buy this watch, wear it for years, and sell it for more than you paid. The money in your bank account quietly loses value every year. This steel watch does the opposite. No advertising campaign can manufacture that, so what can? To answer that, you have to go back to a problem one man had in 1944. His name was Hans Wilsdorf. He had built Rolex from nothing, starting in London in 1905, then moving to Geneva. He had turned a wristwatch into a legend. Wilsdorf once put it simply, only great marketing is needed to make a company successful. But the single most important thing he ever did had nothing to do with marketing at all. Because in 1944, his wife Florence died. They had no children. And that left Wilsdorf staring at the question every founder eventually faces, and almost all of them answer the same way. What happens to the company when I'm gone? The normal answers are simple. You leave it to your heirs, you sell it, or one day it goes public, and strangers own pieces of it. Wilsdorf had no heirs to leave it to, and he had watched what happens to great companies when the founder dies. They get divided, sold, squeezed by people who need them to pay out. So he did something almost no one does. In 1945, he created a foundation and named it after himself, the Hans Wilsdorf Foundation, and in his will, finalized at his death in 1960, he gave it everything, every share of Rolex, not to a person, to an institution that cannot die, cannot inherit, and cannot sell. Think about how completely that flips things. Once, Rolex could be sold to anyone with enough money. Now it can be sold to no one at any price. Before that will, it was like any other company, something to be inherited, divided, or sold off. After it, Rolex became something almost no business on earth ever is, a company that can never be owned by a person again. So what happens to a company when the pressure to pay anyone back simply disappears? This is the move that changed everything, and it's worth slowing down on. When a company is owned by people, those people eventually want something back. Shareholders want the stock to rise, heirs want their inheritance, investors want a return. None of that sounds sinister, but it is the single force that quietly controls almost every company you will ever buy from. That pressure, the need to get money out, is the hidden engine behind almost every company you deal with. Grow, expand, make more, sell more, every single year. Rolex has none of that. The foundation that owns it doesn't need a payout. It can't cash out. There are no shareholders to please and no heirs to satisfy. And once you remove the pressure to grow, you can do the one thing nearly every other brand is afraid to do. You can make less than people want, on purpose, forever. By most outside estimates, Rolex makes around 1 million watches a year and could almost certainly sell far more. It chooses not to. Put simply, the scarcity isn't an accident and it isn't a marketing trick. It's what becomes possible when no living person is waiting to be paid. Lawyers actually have a name for this kind of control, a rule set by someone who is gone that still binds the living. They call it the dead hand. Centuries ago, it described land given to the church, property locked away so it could never be sold again, held forever beyond the reach of any heir or any king. Wilsdorf, in effect, did the same thing with a watch company. He reached forward in time and took Rolex off the table, permanently. By the time he died, he had even remarried. It didn't matter. He had already put Rolex somewhere no spouse, no heir, and no buyer could ever reach it. He has been dead for 65 years, and his hand is still on the company. Here's where this reaches you, even if you never buy the watch. Most things you own are designed to lose value. The car, the phone, the furniture, built to be replaced, worth a little less the moment they're yours. Rolex is built on the opposite idea. Make a little, make it well, never flood the market, and let scarcity do what no advertising can. The result is an object that holds its value while the currency in your pocket slowly leaks it. That gap between things that hold value and things that don't is one of the quiet forces shaping your whole financial life. Rolex is simply what it looks like when an entire company is built to stay on the right side of it. But sit with the structure long enough and a harder question appears. The Hans Wilsdorf Foundation is, on paper, a charity. It funds art, education, and projects around Geneva. And yet it is one of the most secretive owners in business. By its own code, it does not disclose how much it is worth, how much it gives away, or to whom. So, is it a charity that happens to own a watch company, or a watch company wearing the shape of a charity, one built mainly to keep itself alive and untouchable? From the outside, you cannot fully tell, and that may be the point. What can be said for certain is this: we think the value of a thing comes from the thing itself, the gold, the engineering, the name, but that is only half the truth. Rolex is proof that the deepest value can come from something you can't see on the object at all. It comes from who is allowed to want money out of it. Almost every company you will ever buy from is owned by people who need it to grow. Rolex is owned by an idea that only needs it to survive. One man saw what almost no one else did, and instead of selling his life's work, he locked it away from everyone, including his own future. He never left Rolex to a person. He left it to time. And so far, time has kept it. Rolex was built to never be sold. The next file is the opposite machine, one built so that everything you buy dies on schedule. It's on your screen now. Open it.